Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Adam Combs and I am a Vice President and Portfolio Director at Business Decision, supporting the enterprise accounts of Business and Decision. We look forward to discussing a rapidly evolving space that industry has dubbed the Internet of Things and hope that this information will be useful to you as you think about how the advancements in technology can benefit your business, your customers, and your bottom line. Before we dive into the content of the presentation, I would like to quickly do an introduction of who Business and Decision is. We are a global company, publicly traded, with three offices in North America, located in Wayne, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia, offices in Montreal, and offices in Scottsdale, Arizona. Our global headquarters are in Paris, France, and we are operating in some 15 countries around the world. We have approximately 2,500 employees, and we pride ourselves on knowing our customers, helping to advise them of those things that will benefit them independent of any one particular technology. Customer intimacy is very important to us. Solving your business problems and supporting your strategic initiatives is the primary focus, and applying the right technology is only part of a total solution composed of people, processes, and technology. In order to provide this type of service, relationships with key partners who are industry leaders, value creators, and change catalysts are very important to B&D. We align ourselves with these technology providers to bring industry leadership and create value to our customers. This is just a partial listing, and you will see later on in the presentation that some of them are highlighted as a means to convey how the Internet of Things relates to your current enterprise applications. It's important to note, though, that we have aligned ourselves with these partners so we can provide the best solution to you, not just represent the interests of one particular partner. B&D offers a comprehensive range of solutions, ranging from upfront business process reengineering and management consulting through custom development, solution integration, all the way through the execution and deployment of these systems. The main point here is that we're striving to understand your business, to help optimize how business is done, to select the right technology to help you build a roadmap to achieve your strategic objectives, and then to implement and deploy that technology throughout your business, thereby driving user adoption and the business improvements that you're looking to achieve. We also support your technology needs through the entire life cycle of the information technology need. We do that through providing not only this work, but also through supporting of applications, hosting, and managed services, as well as help desk support, a variety of other support mechanisms. So, B&D is a multi-specialist group. We are focused on 7 major areas of expertise. These include business intelligence, cloud, mobility, customer experience management, e-business and application development, enterprise resource planning, as well as all of the extended systems associated with ERP, regulatory compliance. We are a provider of compliance around everything from HIPAA to SOX, FDA compliance, and we actually have in our hosting and managed IT services offering, which spans across these areas, compliant, capable environments as well as offerings. From an ERP perspective, this is where our pedigree comes from in North America. You can see we have over 80 ERP consultants in North America alone, with over 500 ERP experiences and over 200 customers. We've been aligned with Infor, Oracle, and Microsoft, as well as supporting some other solutions outside of that area. This doesn't include our clients experience associated with other competencies. This is strictly ERP. So let's get on today's content. What is the objective of today's session? Today we want to learn what are the benefits of adopting Internet of Things technology for your business. So first we'll discuss what is the Internet of Things. Then we'll discuss what is the opportunity or business value around the Internet of Things. How can you leverage the Internet of Things in your current enterprise architecture, and what things do you need to be mindful of moving forward? And therefore, how can you incorporate the Internet of Things into your 2015 strategy as well as your enterprise strategy moving forward? We do not aim to be prescriptive in our steps today, but we want to share information at a high level about what the Internet of Things is and how it could benefit your business. We want to show you how you can incorporate this into your overall enterprise strategy and begin taking steps to joining technologies to drive value back into your business. So before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of how the Internet has been used and consumed by people historically. Initially, the Internet was really primarily focused around connections between people and business interacting, creating and consuming or processing data in an Internet-connected manner. But we really look at that old view. As we look at that old view of Internet use, we really see static HTML web pages as the primary point of interaction. We think of people doing things like shopping. Even today, there's some direct access, or actually a lot of direct access consuming applications on your iPhone, or interacting, but not so much interacting on social outlets. Really, the main point here is that the connection was driven by the user in a point-to-point fashion and driven by human-initiated activity. With machine-to-machine advancements, mobile technology is enabling machines to interact in a machine-to-machine fashion. This is facilitated by devices getting smaller and smarter, by their ability to collect massive amounts of data, and the ease of connection, allowing devices to connect more easily and more often. With machine-to-machine capabilities, we see much higher velocity of communication. It's often triggered by real-time activity between devices, networks, and applications. We see data being collected on a continuous basis. Within this platform of people, devices, and applications, we're seeing a massive increase in the complexity of integration and communication, along with an abundance of data. All of this represents a tremendous opportunity to provide services that drive value to businesses, customers, and each of us as individuals. So what is the Internet of Things? It is, as stated above, a platform comprised of interconnected sensors, networks, gateway devices, device identity management, event processing, and a new class of smart applications and services. As you can see, the data is coming from all kinds of sources or machines. It could monitor from a medical device, information streamlining in from energy production or from the shop floor, a machine on the shop floor, and could include notifications to your service equipment based on the wear and tear of that equipment and planning whether it be scheduled maintenance activity or reallocation of your labor onto a different set of equipment to do level loading. All of this together, this conglomeration of technology, all composes the Internet of Things. So where's the business value? With all of these devices connected and sharing data across the Internet of Things, what's the benefit to businesses and consumers? In other words, where's the beef? Well, it was recently projected that over 50 billion devices would be sharing over 40 trillion gigabytes of data across the Internet of Things. So with all the devices, it's really important to find just this out. Where's the beef? So let's take a step back and look at how technologies are converging and look at the overall landscape. The evolution of enterprise applications such as ERP has begun to converge with the evolution of the Internet of Things. As we discussed earlier, the Internet used to be, but is now able to handle machine-to-machine communication, interacting with both machines and people, not just people to enterprises and using static HTML pages. Enterprise applications similarly started out as a simple place to identify how products were going to be made and exploded into how all facets of operations are managed, from CRM to forecasting of financials to BI and supply chain management and human capital management. It's with this latest wave of enterprise technology where cloud computing and cloud ERP leverages internet technology and big data capabilities. That's where we see how the Internet of Things begin to intertwine with the enterprise applications and initiatives therein. So, what do we see as the foundation of the Internet of Things? Well, it's really built upon 4 pillars. We see the advancements in mobile, cloud, social, and big data technologies as being those pillars that are able to support and facilitate the value of machine-to-machine interaction within the Internet of Things. They enable the communication and acquisition of data, the analysis of data, the handling and event processing of data, the communication around these events, along with the management of the identity and security of not only the individuals, but the devices and the data exchanged between all of the components of the Internet of Things. So what we really see is technology in action. A few years ago, IDC did a survey, and it indicated that 90% of people expected modern technologies to actually change the way we work within 3 years. They couldn't have been more right. With the convergence of cloud, social business, analytics, mobility, these are all working dramatically to change how people do business, how they interact with each other, how they interact with their customers, how they interact with their vendors, and how they interact with the world, and quite frankly, even their equipment and their devices within their business. And what we're seeing right now is really just the tip of the iceberg. We're seeing the ability to do monitoring of events that are critical to your business through the aggregation of data in these devices that are internet enabled. We're seeing speed and accuracy of data that we've never seen before. We're seeing the ability to do an analysis on this information and be able to respond quickly. And generally speaking, we're having tremendous improvements in quality of products and services rendered to people because we're able to react more quickly and get instant feedback. This all leads to opportunities for higher productivity and an ability to manage our business and our assets in a way that we've never seen before. So what this really means is that we can now design our business and our technology to react to the market in a timely fashion. We can use this information to remain ahead of our competition and accelerate how we operate, both internally as well as with our customers and our vendors. For example, if we automatically notified from a sensor that a gas valve is going bad, we could proactively shut that down in the field to prevent an adverse event from ever occurring, rather than having to do the cleanup and the damage control associated with not being able to collect that information and react to that event in advance. The shutdown itself is another machine activity that in and of itself could be automated by that sensor. It wouldn't even require human interaction. So how does this affect things downstream? Well, not only could you avert some kind of catastrophe, but you could also use that information to shift demand from one production site to another. So not only are you having risk mitigated, but you're actually ensuring, taking steps to help ensure that your production is not impacted. This increases the quality of the consumer experience by not impacting them, ensuring timely delivery of the good that they're looking for, as well as ensuring that you receive the revenue and the profitability that you're forecasting. We have endless opportunities to add value and differentiate your products to reduce costs and improve customer service by leveraging this information in new and meaningful ways. How can this impact your business? Quite frankly, we don't know that. Here's a few examples of things that are being done today, but what can be done in your business is something that each company has to look at and see where the opportunities for automation and where the opportunities for decision making lie. As you can see below, we have the parking meters, industrial equipment, medical consumables, order processing, marketing promotions, and even the Fitbit technology you can put on your shoulder or on your person to measure things are just a few areas where we can find opportunities to leverage the Internet of Things to drive value back to consumers, back to your business. In municipalities, parking meter pricing is being used as a means to help regulate the load balancing of parking within cities, to help ensure that traffic flow is influenced to reduce traffic congestion. They've enabled credit card processing on these machines to enable drivers to pay without having cash handy, making their lives quite a lot more simple, as well as helping them mitigate the risk of getting a ticket, while reducing the amount of policing and citation management that was done by the municipality itself. In addition to this, they have adjusted pricing according to where traffic congestion is the most. So they encourage parking towards areas with less traffic congestion, thereby helping to reduce the congestion within the cities. This has actually been quite successful in a number of cities of scale in the U.S., and it's just one example of how the Internet of Things is enabling automation and decision-making in our public sector types of environments. So what if your systems could be integrated to handle the Internet of Things? How would it change the way you work? Well, we believe that today's business is a lot more social. People are looking for ways to interact with each other in the context of their applications. It's more mobile. They need to be able to interact not only in the office, but while they're in the field. And they need that key information, live information at their fingertips while they're in the field. So that technology has to be mobile. And things that are going on with equipment, whether it be on the floor or in a forklift truck or a piece of heavy equipment being utilized as a rental in another country, that information needs to be enabled to get back through mobile technology to the businesses that are providing these goods and services, as well as the people, the employees of that business, to help enable them in how they're working. The technology needs to be proactive. It can no longer just be transactional. It has to use business criteria and inform people of what they need to do based on real-time events that are happening, and help them to know when decisions need to be made based on the rules that they themselves have set up. It needs to be collaborative. The machines, the customers, vendors, and business all need to be working together in order to ensure that the desired outcome for your business as well as your business partners is of a primary focus. It needs to also be collaborative between technologies. These technologies need to be integrated and working together. Information you receive needs to be in context. It has to be relative to actual business events and driving information to you about the business decisions and information that impact your business the most. And maybe, and as much as anything, it must be connected. And that is what the Internet of Things has truly enabled. The age of the Internet has enabled all of these applications, people, and devices to be fully connected. So, most folks are living with businesses that have disparate systems. They see that the opportunity is there. They realize that we're living in the age of the Internet. You at your home may be more connected than you at your business. There's a lot of complexity, obviously, in the business world around legacy and current applications, where people work, how people work, the types of activities they're performing, how your machines are helping enable your business, what they're capable of tracking, where they might be, how they're providing goods and services, how they're collecting information, and then most importantly is how is the data captured, and can that data be shared and exchanged and manipulated. So we can see with this complexity that a platform is required, a platform to connect all of these things. Again, these things being your applications, your people, your machines, and your data. That platform must be scalable. It requires the ability to handle massive volumes of information. A lot of this information is also highly dynamic and highly perishable data. So it's not being stored and collected at these volumes necessarily. So your application platform needs to be able to handle faster processing of this information, to be able to take timely action. Latency is just simply not an option for your business. You need to be able to aggregate this information, extract the data that's valuable, and be able to eliminate the waste and have confidence that what you've captured is what's important to your business and store it at the level that it needs to be. The integration between the applications, the machines, and the people has to be very tightly coupled. It needs to be able to remove security issues. It needs to be able to provide security around the transactions and the data being exchanged. It needs to have dynamic access. We need to have provisioning that supports the policies and the credentials that your organization requires. If you're an organization that must conform to regulatory constraints, the way that your strategy, your platform strategy works must support the policies and procedures and the compliance necessary for your business. And of course, we need to understand identity management and support identity management from the device as well as the application to make sure that the actions being requested, that it's understood from what party they're being requested and that they are in fact authorized to do so. So in other words, the device needs to be able to capture or acquire the data, analysis needs to be taken on the data, and action must be able to be achieved against that data being extracted in a timely fashion. It's not just the ability to get this information that's important, but the ability to process and take action on this data, an actionable event, that is the most critical. And the more robust the platform, the more capable it is to drive that business value by reducing the amount of time of processing and getting that information to the business in a timely fashion. So if you think about it, the platform that drives ROI from the Internet of Things, leveraging, again, cloud, mobility, technology, it must be able to control your processes. You must be able to define how you want your process to work, and the technology must be able to model that successfully. It must enable you to manage and consume data in the fashion that you're looking for it to be handled. And it must manage the business interactions, both internally and externally, observing the relationships that you have established that allow you to remain conformant to policies, procedures, and regulation, but as well facilitate interaction between parties. In other words, this platform must enable you to work smarter and not harder. It must make your life easier and not more complex. Quite simply, this means the platform must be extremely robust in handling both technology and business requirements in order to properly leverage all of the valuable information that's available to you. So, if we think about it, what we really have is devices, and this just gives you a pictorial of the interaction between devices and how it's handled. But the devices need to be able to make a call to a service. That service could range from information about a production run being transmitted or collected to automatically reordering on a shelf based on a stock point. That trigger could be an email to send a customer a coupon. That trigger could be a notification that a machine's going down for maintenance. It could be that the device provides some kind of authorization to start an order based on receiving a sales order. So that real-time beginning of production based on some kind of critical order going on with a client. It could be any multitude of things. But the important part is that the device that's calling the service has unique information about the identity of the device, about the application that may be being used on the device, that may or may not be being used on the device, and that the device and the user's role within the ecosystem. The service then leverages the service bus or the infrastructure layer, which we will discuss further. And this results in services, processes, or activity being carried out by one or more business processes or applications or a variety of back-end systems. But this is all contingent on having that solid shared services infrastructure that provides the means of the platform for all of these to communicate with one another. This picture further elaborates how the devices connect to various back-end services and applications through these communication layers. The device goes to the service provider, which then in turn passes it to the infrastructure services, which passes it to the various Internet of Things services, so everything from event processing, integration, security, identity management, big data and analytics, and so forth, and then to various applications and developer services. This further elaborates how communication occurs throughout the infrastructure. It displays that how sophisticated the platform needs to be, and at the same time, how nimble the application, the platform needs to be. In a modern ERP environment, this is supported through cloud, mobile, and middleware technologies that allow service layers to be accessed through what's commonly known as the service-oriented architecture. Most Internet-enabled modern enterprise systems leverage the service-oriented architecture to be able to communicate and integrate in this Internet, in this age of the Internet. Again, this displays how the convergence of cloud technology is converging with the machine-to-machine technology. So Infor's approach leverages a platform called ION. That is their intelligent open network. Within this ecosystem, you have loosely coupled applications versus generic monolithic applications. In other words, their application approach is to not do a one-size-fits-all, but to provide applications, services, and tools that allow you to support your specific business needs. It allows you to quickly to leverage their industry-specific suite applications. So if you're a A&D customer as opposed to a customer that may be in the fashion business, you have an opportunity to purchase a cloud suite or an industry cloud suite that is specific to your vertical. And that allows Infor to provide a combination of applications, best practices, and workflow, along with a technology stack that is service-enabled through their service-oriented architecture and deployed on a cloud strategy, further enabling the internet connectivity between your application stack and the device. This is often known as middleware and enables you to manage the activity between the application layer and the external devices. This is coupled with their social business tools, such as Mingle, that allow you to communicate with in your organization and outside of your organization much in the same fashion as you would around a workflow development tool or even social business. So this allows you to see all of the communication in and around a particular event, order, or activity, and keeps it connected and traceable rather than in disparate systems such as email or other systems that would be more transactional or a record rather than intertwined inside of your actual applications. You can also tie in and connect things like email and documents into these workflows so that you have all of the relevant correspondences intertwined. Again, this is all enabled through the internet-enabled applications and devices. Without the Internet of Things capabilities, the power of the cloud and the mobility solutions would basically be greatly reduced. So how does this look in an actual scenario? Well, we're going to start with Norm. Norm has been notified that a production for a key order scheduled to ship tomorrow has had a significant drop-off. So the machine production time on the floor, the rate of production has been trailing off. Norm is subscribed to a service within his ERP application that tracks production order rates for any orders running against his customers. So when Norm is alerted that the production has fallen below 60% of the prescribed rate, Norm gets this alert. What Norm didn't realize, and he doesn't necessarily even care, but what he didn't realize is that a sensor on the machine that is actually manufacturing the information and recording production at the same time is transmitting this information back to the ERP system on each unit it produces. And so the rate of production is then tracked and creates the data or the analytics around what an event that Norm cares about, which is production falling below 60% of the anticipated rate associated with that type of item. So in this example, we see the device and the machine coupled with a business decision or an analytic and a business event that Norm cares about, rate of production, being integrated through the Internet of Things across the platform, ION, to communicate with the ERP system that he happens to be using, ERP LN, to let him know through Mingle and through the workflow engine inside of ION that this rate has been violated. What this allows Norm to do is reach out to Angela at the help desk and say, hey, what's going on with this order? And with this, he uses the social tool called Mingle. And you can see that this tool is enabling them to discuss this specific order and will create a history of what's going on with this order so that if a question ever comes up later on, it can be seen what is going on with this order. So Angela is part of a group. That particular group is maintenance. So Angela says, let me find out what's going on with that order, Norm, and I'll get right back with you. Angela sees that maintenance is working on it, and so she reaches out to the techs and maintenance that are in the field to find out what's going on. So she reaches out to Jared. And what information is shared back with them, as you can see, is that the request to the maintenance team is information she can share back with Norm, or just a place where she can look to see which references this original request from Norm, so that all the people involved can see the string of communication and the in-context and provide an in-context response, just like Norm got in-context information about this order to begin with. So the maintenance team reviews their planning board, determines the status of the maintenance activity, the anticipated completion of the maintenance, communicates that maintenance is going on, and determines what activity should be recommended in terms of this particular event. In this particular case, the maintenance is going to be done relatively soon. So Jared reports back to Angela at the same time, because they're both part of this string, through the thread of this social event, indicating that production should go back up to normal levels as Crane 4 goes back online. Norm can see from this that the order he's counting on is going to. But had the maintenance been booked for a longer period of time or run longer than planned, Norm would have been notified of the impact of the schedule. Potentially activity could have been taken, or an action could have been taken to enable the order to be shipped. And if not, if nothing else, it would have given Norm the information proactively so that he could work with his customer proactively and determine, do they want a partial shipment? Do they want to wait for the whole shipment? What kind of impact is this going to have to the customer? And work with the customer in a more collaborative and proactive fashion. The other important thing here, as we look at how the Internet of Things is interacting with modern ERP, modern platforms around cloud and mobility, is that with this massive volume of information available in activity that is actionable based on the data and the analytics that comes through, it is emphasizing the importance of beauty as a competence, the ability to see quickly what's going on and have in-context information, to change the way that work's getting done as the amount of information available to people has changed. It really is requiring us to rewire the way people create, consume, and share information at the application layer to more reflect what's available in their day-to-day lives as individuals, as well as what's available in technology, and really create that consumer-grade experience. And we're really seeing information and event-driven types of experiences more than the traditional transactional information, which is still available, but generally people are looking for specific information or events and in-context BI. And again, as we just saw, having that ability to leverage social and mobile technologies to support this real-time exchange of information that mirrors what's going on at the device level. Again, we see the convergence of this technology between mobile and cloud and the enterprise applications with what's going on with the Internet of Things and the connectivity between devices across the Internet. Oracle, it's different, but a similar approach in the sense that they are too using a service-oriented architecture. That design principle of leveraging the Internet and devices that are enabled across the Internet and using a service bus is very similar. Their approach varies in that they are the proprietors also of hardware and the database, so they will oftentimes have logic not just built into the applications, but also built into the database and the hardware itself. The middleware solution that Oracle uses is called Fusion, and it supports communication just like ION. It supports communication between non-OEM solutions and Oracle. So, for instance, if you had another ERP system like SAP, it could interact with that. If you had a CRM system like Salesforce, it would enable you to interact with that. And so the point being is that they have a robust, scalable integration platform and able to support communication between different technologies, whether they be different applications, different types of devices, or different even geographies and locations. So we take this step, another step forward. This is another look at how the device layer is accessing Oracle services and applications in the data center platform. So they leverage the gateway and the network layer to connect devices to those back-end applications and systems and processes that the device is looking to initiate or at least inform and influence. So, as we've taken a look at how the Internet of Things is converging with enterprise technology, most companies are really still here, still with disparate systems, still struggling to find out how they can integrate their applications, their people, their machines, and their devices to collect data and data sources that are available, and really need help from getting from here to an interconnected platform of technology. So, what do we recommend? Well, we really recommend that you take a step back and assess where you're at and understand what simple steps can you take first. Where is meaningful data that can be or already is being acquired available to you? Is there a significant pain in your business that you're trying to resolve that a device is or could collect and influence how you're operating? Whether that equipment is on the floor, whether that equipment is a handheld or computing device that a salesperson or a service rep has in the field, whether it's a GPS type of device that's on a piece of equipment that you're renting out and you need to track where it is and in order to appropriate the right taxes or something of that nature. You need to work with your business and with people that understand the architecture to understand how technology can be used to help alleviate that pain. How can you collect that desired data securely? How can you leverage the platforms you've already invested in today, perhaps, or that you could look to upgrade in order to drive ROI out of your business, out of your devices that you already have, out of the people that you already have, and out of the processes that you already have established or maybe need slight tweaking. What analytics or dashboards would be useful to your people to help them understand the data that's already available to them to take meaningful steps towards managing the business that they just don't have visibility into today? And again, how can you leverage advancements in cloud and mobility integration tools or these middleware tools like Fusion and ION, and social tools like Mingle and Caillou, which is one developed by B&D, to enable you to maximize the information that you're getting out of your systems and make better decisions. Again, you can see all of these things have the ability to be connected, not point to point, but in a more of a web type of environment where they can be connected in many ways. And what will you achieve over time by taking these steps? You'll change the way that work's getting done in your business. You will rewire the way people are creating, consuming, and sharing information. No longer do they need to go into the long list of orders and see which ones are going to be late. No longer do they need to go into calling customers and calling drivers. You could have that device on the truck letting you know when that order, where the order is, what is the anticipated time of delivery based on routes and distances. All of these types of things are available to you now to automate rather than having to do all of that manual intervention. Quite frankly, even getting some of the orders and automating it and having accountability from the customer on what they're sending back, even via EDI, is an opportunity for your business to both increase its revenue as well as mitigate the risk of communication gaps between you and your clients and your employees. Again, you will become a company that uses information to drive activity rather than simply aggregating all of this transactional information, trying to figure out what to do with it. And give your people in-context BI so that they know what you're looking for them to do, what things you're wanting them to look at, and what actions you want them to take based on the in-context BI that you're providing to them. Simply put, it allows your people and your business to work faster and smarter when connected to an Internet of Things and when supported by a enterprise application structure with social and mobile capabilities. So we believe we're the right company to help with this. Not only do we have experience with knowing about the Internet of Things, but we have experience in enterprise applications. We have the experience in the infrastructure and the integration tools around enterprise applications and the infrastructure layer, as you can see in our hosting and managed services and ERP pillars. We also have the cloud and mobility experience. Not only that, deployed by the OEMs and understanding the context in which it's being provided by OEMs, but actually also being able to build and develop it for those applications which come from different sources or integrating between different OEMs. We have the BI competency. We're actually recognized by Gartner in business intelligence and CXM as being leaders in being able to take this information and provide in-context information to your business to react to market demands, to react to events in the field, and help you make better business decisions. And then, of course, e-business and development with compliance, enabling you to build applications, enabling you to use devices, use equipment, use people and applications, all in a secure and compliant fashion. So we thank you for your time today. If you have any questions following today's event, please do reach out to me to get any questions or information about ERP and their Internet of Things era, about cloud technology, about mobile technology, about integration technology and middleware like Fusion or Ion. Please do reach out to me. My name again is Adam Combs. You can see my contact information there. Please do feel free to reach out to me at 513-850-1758. That is my cell phone. We would love to hear from you. And if you do contact us and reach out and you reference this webinar or this webcast, just email me and tag on there reaching out from this webcast, and we'll do a free consultation for you and help you and discuss how the Internet of Things can be leveraged by your business to drive ROI and get more out of your enterprise architecture. We thank you for attending today's event. We hope it's been meaningful and informative for you. There's so much more to come. And there's so much deeper that we can go, but hopefully this was a good high-level overview for you to understand what's going on with the Internet of Things and how that relates to your application strategy and your business strategy as those technologies converge. We thank you again. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.